It is Throwback Thursday here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. That's David Wilson. I'm Maurice Patton. We will be here with you for the next couple of hours on this fine Thursday afternoon, talking local, regional, and national sports content, and excited to do so. David, good afternoon. What's happening?
Doing all, Mo. Enjoying another beautiful day here in the mid-state. Sun is shining. Of course, it rained last Friday when we were out trying to cover football. All the rain that we have needed here in the mid-state. Any other day would have been great, but of course it would have come on Friday. And for me, postponed my football coverage plans till Saturday. So I have a gripe with Mother Nature, but today it feels good outside. So it's starting to finally feel like fall. I can wear a light jacket and some pants in the evening, which is nice. So feels good.
It's the perfect date, huh? All you
Yeah.
need is a light sweater. No, uh, yeah, it's starting to kind of cool down finally, and yeah, that rain was quite untimely last weekend. Hopefully, we can avoid that this time around. We're going to get started with some Thursday night football tonight. We'll be talking about that here in a second on the rundown, but plenty to get into with today's show. In the second hour, we will be visiting with FLOYD. She is the play-by-play announcer for Alabama A&M football. Alabama A&M will be coming to Nashville this weekend, taking on Tennessee State in the Legacy Series, the inaugural matchup between the Bulldogs and the Tigers in that one. Looking forward to talking to FLOYD and getting some insight into the Bulldogs as they come up 65, take on the Tigers, and also get some insight into Ty's career. We're going to tell you why what she's doing is historic when we get to her in the second hour. In the next segment, we'll be visiting with Dickson County football coach Jeff Tomlinson. The Cougars, 3-0. Speaking of traveling, they will be heading up to Henry County tomorrow night in a traditional rivalry, one of the area's biggest. So looking forward to talking to Coach Tomlinson about his Cougars here in the next segment. We'll also be talking a little golf, a little baseball. We will get into some football at the professional level as well as collegiate, and a little hockey and a little basketball as well. So plenty to get to. We will also be throwing it back at the top of the second hour to our conversation that we had earlier this week with TERESA Walker, the queen of Tennessee sports media, as we kind of dissected Sunday's Titans Broncos matchup and, just kind of dissect it one more time before they get ready for their home opener against the Rams here on Sunday. So plenty to get to, plenty of football, but a lot of other stuff as well. So excited to touch on all of that again here over the next couple of hours. So that is the lay of the land. Let's go ahead and get started, David, with yesterday's results and today's schedule on the rundown.
This is the rundown.
Schedule in the TLSLA girls soccer action last night. It was Hendersonville picking up a 2-0 win over Sumner County rival Beach in district play. It was also Sycamore blanking Creekwood in district action as well. Sycamore 9, Creekwood 0, final score there. In Major League Baseball, it was Wade's Astros picking up a 3-2 win over the Toronto Blue Jays north of the border. It was the Cubs taking the series finale and taking the series down at Truist Park against the Atlanta Braves. Final score there 3-2. Here at First Horizon Park, here in Nashville, was the Gwinnett Stripers evening the series with the Nashville Sounds. Gwinnett 7, Nashville 4, and in the W, it was the Atlanta Dream picking up an 88-72 win over the Connecticut Sun.
High school football tonight. The Main Street Radio Game of the Week. You can hear Wade Neely and Casey Patrick as East Nashville travels north, taking on Beach. Big matchup there. That should be fun. Eagles, Buccaneers, 7 o'clock. Main Street Radio Game of the Week. Also at 7 o'clock, you've got Eagleville traveling to Cascade. East Hickman is at Forest, and Columbia Academy goes to the Pit, taking on the Falcons of Lincoln County. All of those are 7 o'clock kicks. We will have coverage of Columbia Academy and Lincoln County before the end of the night at mainstreetmurray.com, so be sure and check that out. Volleyball action this evening. 5 o'clock starts for Santa Fe at Culleoka. Also, Eagleville at Moore County. Murfreesboro Central travels to Spring Hill at 5 o'clock. At 5:45, Zion Christian is at Grace Christian of Franklin. Also, St. Cecilia goes to Middle Tennessee Christian, and Columbia Academy is at Bell Buckle, taking on the Lady Feet of Webb. At 6 o'clock, it's Battle Creek at Cascade. Station Camp goes to Gallatin. Stewart's Creek is at Laverne. Mount Pleasant is hosting Collinwood. Riverdale is at Siegel. Lebanon is at Smyrna. At 6:30, Loretto travels to Hampshire, and Blackman is at Oakland.
Girls soccer action tonight in the TLOSLA. All these are 5 o'clock starts. It's Middle Tennessee Christian making the trip to Coffee County. Nashville Christian at Davidson County in district action in Division II Single A. John Overton at Fairview. Harpeth Hall at Father Ryan in district action. It's DCA making the trip up to Sumner County to Gallatin. It's Glencliff at Kip Antioch. Global Lead Academy at Lawson. Green Hill making the trip to Maplewood at 5 o'clock. Lebanon at Smyrna, that is district action right there. Ezel Harding at University School of Nashville, also in a district match right there. Mount Juliet at Antioch. At 5:45, it is Martin Luther King at Tullahoma. 6 o'clock starts for these ensuing games. It is Giles County at Battle Creek in district play. It is Laverne at Cookville, also in district action. CPA at Innsworth, also in district play. Clarksville Academy at Friendship Christian in Lebanon, that is district match as well. Hume Fogg at Hillsboro at 6 o'clock as well. Lawrence County at Murfreesboro Central Magnet in district play as well. DeKalb County at Watertown. Zion Christian at Columbia Academy. Montgomery Central also first touch at 6 o'clock. In district play at 6:30, it's Macon County at Greenbrier, Lipscomb Academy at Pope John Paul II. It's Cornersville at Richland. In non-district play, it is BGA at Valor Collegiate. Also a non-district match between Kenwood at Clarksville Northeast. 7 o'clock first touch. A district match for Rockville at Blackman, Ravenwood at Centennial. Non-district play, Dickson County at Cheatham County. Another district match here, Shelbyville at Columbia. Non-district match for Clarksville at Franklin Road Academy. District matches for Summit at Independence, Culleoka at Loretto, Franklin at Nolensville, Brentwood at Page, Riverdale at Siegel, Wilson Central at Stewart's Creek, all 7 o'clock first touches. And rounding out the slate in non-district play, it is Kirkwood at Portland, 7:30 first touch in Sumner County. In Major League Baseball tonight is the Houston Astros wrapping up their series north of the border at Toronto. That is a 2:07 start, so that was 1 minute ago. You can find that one on MLB Network. Tonight at First Horizon Park is Game 3 of a 6-game set. The last one here for the Nashville Sounds homestand this year is the Gwinnett Stripers at Nashville, 6:35 first pitch. It is Throwback Thursday and First Responder Night, half-price drink. So go down to First Horizon Park and have a good time. In the W tonight is the Phoenix Mercury at the Dallas Wings. That is 7 o'clock first tip. The New York Liberty at the Chicago Sky. 7 o'clock first tip there as well. On MLB, or no, excuse me, MLB. On NBA TV is the Golden State Valkyries at the Minnesota Lynx. That should be a good one. The 7 o'clock first tip. And the nightcap of that one is the Las Vegas Aces. Looking to keep it rolling. They are winners of 15 in a row at the Los Angeles Sparks. And in the NFL, it is Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders making the trip to face my Green Bay Packers and Micah Parsons. That is a 7:15 kickoff. You can find that one on Amazon Prime. Ladies and gentlemen, those were your scores. That was your lengthy schedule, and that concludes today's rundown.
Your top story brought to you as always by the fine folks at Piggly Wiggly in Neely's Mill in Columbia. Be sure and check out their delicious daily deli lunch options available from 11 a.m. until 6 p.m. Also, their hand-cut meats and everything is cost plus 10% at the cash register. Piggly Wiggly, Neely's Mill, Columbia, bringing you our top story. And the Corn Ferry Tour Finals, which is a series of 4 tournaments to end the Corn Ferry season, has started today in Franklin at the Vanderbilt Legends Club. It's the Simmons Bank Open for the Snedeker Foundation. And checking in, we have some final scores. Nelson Ledesma fired a 61 to open play today. He is the leader in the clubhouse at 9 under, a stroke ahead of Patrick Welch, who shot a 62. Stuart McDonald with a 63 is 7 under. He is in third place. Trent Phillips shot a 64. Alvaro Ortiz shot a 65. So you've got a guy 5 under and 4 back coming off at the end of round 1. Actually, you've got a 4-way tie for 5th place at 5 under, excuse me. Ortiz along with Peter Quest, Quest, not sure. Andro Kozan and Brandon Holzer each shot 5 under as well to get things started today. But the name that all of us are concerned with is 18-year-old former Brentwood Academy standout Blades Brown, and he is still out on the course, and I am having to scroll way further down to find his name than I would like. Tied for 70. Yeah, he is even through 8. He is tied for 75th. Obviously, again, he hasn't even made the turn, so he's got plenty of time to turn it up. But even
Goodness.
yeah, even when you look at some of these other scores, is not necessarily where you want to be. So hopefully Blades can get it turned on here on the back 9 and make a run here in the opening day. But yeah, the first day of the first event of the Korn Ferry Tour Finals is underway out at Vanderbilt Legends as the Simmons Bank Open for the Snedeker Foundation is underway. So again, we'll be keeping an eye on Blades. We were able to visit with him last week and played some video of that, as well as his dad, Park, and Whit Turnbow of the Tennessee Golf Foundation. Got a chance to catch up with all of them last week ahead of this event. And if you missed it, you can go back and find that on any number of platforms, our Twitter, our Main Street Media TV app, etc., etc. But nice conversation that we had with them coming into this event, and Blades will be at it for the next 4 weekends in the Korn Ferry Tour Finals. So again, keeping an eye on him, wishing him luck, and again, hopefully he can get it turned up here to close out the day and get some good momentum going into round 2 here.
Yeah, Mo, those playing conditions this morning had to be really good. Obviously, your 3 leaders are already in the clubhouse and packed up for the day. -9 for Ledesma, -8 for Welsh, and -7 for Stuart McDonald. So those playing conditions must have been very much ideal this morning. So it looks like they may have got the lucky draw of going out in the morning, blessed going out here in the mid afternoon. So maybe the conditions have shifted a little bit. It's a perfect day. Just looking outside my window, I don't see really any wind here in Nashville. So it's been a pleasant day, not too hot, not too cold, not very windy. So the greens must be rolling pretty good. At least for those leaders per se. That's kind of nuts for you to be -9 going into the clubhouse after day 1. So if
It
those
really
conditions
is.
stay the same, goodness, we're gonna have some
Yeah,
high scores.
yeah, it looks like. I mean, that's setting the tone right there. I mean, jump out in front and let everybody chase you for a little bit was, I guess, Ledesma's approach to this thing, and it certainly has paid off. Again, a 61 to open, 9 under, and and even as he said, chase me, Patrick Welch said, hold my Sprite, and came right at him. So you've got, what's that? That's going to be 8 guys within 3 strokes or within 4 strokes of the lead when you get started tomorrow. At least 4 guys, because Ledesma at 9 under, Welch at 8 under, McDonald at 7 under, Trent Phillips again at 6 under, and then you've got a 4-way tie at 5 under. So a lot of guys in striking distance tomorrow, if Ledesma, catches his breath, he could fall back a little bit. So that'll be something to keep an eye on for round 2 tomorrow. And again, we'll be keeping an eye on Blades Brown as well to see how he can close this gap as the day progresses. Hopefully, if we come up with more news on this, we'll let you know before we go off the air here at 4:00. So Simmons Bank Open for the Snedeker Foundation out at Vanderbilt Legends Club is underway. And you can get general admission tickets for free. Go to simmonsbankopen.com/tickets if you'd like to go and check it out tomorrow or later on this weekend. Let's take a break here on Main Street Sports Today as we continue Throwback Thursday. When we come back, we will be joined on Coach's Corner by Jeff Tomlinson of Dickson County talking about his Cougars as they get ready to go up to Henry County tomorrow night. Stay tuned.
All new Sportsbook, the latest gaming machines, live horse racing, and more. The Mid Gaming Hall, Kentucky Downs. Winning just got closer.
Deep in a forest at Nashville Zoo, new creatures here for you to view. Phantoms graced in black and white swing high in trees of dappled light. In rocky crags, tall and steep, small antelopes with nimble feet. A wise old man with beard of white, a sentry perched on stony height. Amidst it all, a hunter lies, with coat of gold and steely eyes. A new adventure just for you. Leopard Forest at Nashville Zoo. Open now.
Busy bee, yeah, busy bee. If you need...
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I need to make a call. Hey, this is Brianna with Busy Bee. I'm giving you a call to let you know your technician is on his way.
833.
Bee, oh, busy bee. Guys, not yet. Not yet.
Busy bee, oh, busy
I'm ready,
bee.
guys.
Call 775-7833.
Custom Stone Handlers supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with Riverstone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe the measure of any person or company is how you treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStoneHandlers.com.
Welcome back in as we continue Throwback Thursday here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. I'm Maurice Patton. That's David Wilson. Joining us now here on Coach's Corner, Dickson County coach Jeff Tomlinson. The Cougars off to a 3-0 start, first time since 2012. Coach Tomlinson, good afternoon.
How are you guys?
How are you?
I'm great. I'm doing great. Getting ready to go to practice here in a few minutes. Doing great.
Well, great. Hey, we appreciate you taking some time with us, Jeff. Again, Dickson County off to a 3-0 start, dealing with a little adversity in the process. I understand that home games are not home games for you all this year.
Well, that is correct, but we haven't faced that adversity yet. We actually started just a minute, I'm sorry. But, yeah, we actually started on the road for 3 straight weeks. So we had on our schedule was 3 straight road games. Our first home game was supposed to be this week against Henry County, and that's been, of course, changed because of the construction on the field.
Okay. Walk us through that. Are y'all going to be able to get on your home field at all this year, or what is the plan? How is that going to shape
We
up?
really don't know. We don't anticipate being on our home field. Maybe playoff time, but we've scheduled homecoming as the last game of the season just in case that we may be able to get on the field. But it doesn't look great. But we'll make the best of it. We're going to travel and we're going to play our home games over at Creekwood, and we've got some things set up for over there to really showcase our school and our guys and make it as home as possible. And we're excited about it, so we're okay.
And I guess if you can take the long view of it, things are going to be better once this gets over with. It's just kind of a bump in the road. But I also know that, for your seniors and that kind of thing, it's kind of tough, a tough pill to swallow, having to deal with that.
You hate it. You hate it for those guys, of course. But they've taken it well, and they've really showed some initiative of leading this football team, and I'm really proud of the way that they've handled it, and they're doing a great job of accepting the fact of the way that this season's going to go, and and that's exciting to me, is the way that they've taken over that leadership role in this team. As far as next year, we're really excited about being able to host at least 6, maybe 7 home games in the regular season next year. On the new turf. It's going to be a great setup. It's going to be, state of the art track around the turf, and just a great atmosphere in the new Dickson Sports Complex.
Coach, I would love to ask you this question. Obviously, we're 3 weeks into the schedule now. I would love to ask you maybe some things that you've learned about your team the first 3 weeks. It seems like there's always that growth period from week 1 to week 2 is where the team we hear makes the most growth and shows their improvement. What have you learned from your guys for the first couple weeks this year?
I tell you what, the biggest thing is these guys, they're confident in their ability, but they don't have a quit button. We've played 3 games. We've played in very tight ball games. With Columbia, the first game, it was back and forth the entire game. Against Laverne, we were down 13-14 at the half, and they come back out in the second half and really put on a great performance there. And then against Creekwood, we were down 23-10 going into the fourth quarter. And, going into that fourth quarter, they did not act like that they were out of it. And they come back barreling back and, played really well down the stretch and kept fighting and clawing and pushing their way through. And, we just had a little more endurance than they did. And we took the lead with a little over 4 minutes to go in the game and held on to the lead. So probably the biggest thing is just their fight, their will to keep playing no matter what the situation, no matter the adversity.
Jeff Tomlinson, Dickson County, joining us here on Coach's Corner. Jeff, coaches will tell you offense, defense, special teams. You had 2 90-yard kickoff returns against Columbia Central in that 27-17 victory. One a 99-yarder. I don't want to short Tristan Brown right off the opening kickoff there. But, how much time do y'all spend on special teams?
We spend a lot of time on special teams. We dedicate a third of our practice to special teams. I mean, so we have it's 3 phases of the game, and so we spend a third, just like third on offense, third. You know what I'm saying. But we spend a lot of time, and we take pride in it. Coach Otis Guerin and Coach Joe Hall are 2 guys that really take pride in those special teams, and they kind of spearhead those teams. At practice we play them full speed, just like we were playing anything else. It's a very important part of the game.
When you bust one for 99 yards, right, the opening kickoff of the opening game of the season, I mean, that's got to send your confidence and everything else just sky high, I would think.
Yeah, absolutely. That was definitely a momentum builder going into the season. For us to be able to take the first kickoff of the season, it really builds confidence in your kids to be able to go out and play football for the rest of the 48 minutes and carry over into even the next games, because they're not, that's the big talking point around what we're doing now is we're going to get one this week. We're going to get one this week. We had against Laverne, we had a punt return called back. It was for a touchdown, and we had a block in the back on the 10-yard line, which brought it back. So we almost had a punt return for a touchdown against Laverne.
Now let me ask you, Coach, when he fields one on the 1, when does no become go?
Well, for Tristan, he's kind of our bell cow. He's our workhorse. We let him make those decisions, and we trust in Tristan's ability to get it out past the 20, no matter where he fields it. Now he could have let that ball bounce and probably trickle into the end zone and get it on the 20, but if he can field it cleanly and he's got his feet set underneath him, he knows that he's got the opportunity. If he wants it, he can take it.
There you go. It's sometimes it's good to just let your players play, right?
That's exactly right.
What other than those type lifts have you kind of looked at and seen out of individual performers that you've really liked through this first 3 games as you get ready to go up to Henry County tomorrow night?
Yeah, defensively, I really like the fact that, our I'm sorry, I'm still at
No,
school.
you're fine. You're at school.
Defensively, our front 7 is still pretty much intact from last year. We have all of those guys back, and Quincy Blues, the middle linebacker in that crew, and all 3 of our linebackers, Eli Overton and Hunter Webb, that goes with them. They really command the defense and get us lined up correctly and get us in the right spot. Our secondaries look kind of brand new from last year, but that's the exciting part about that is Xavier Taylor, who's a senior, has stepped in and been the leader of that group in the secondary, and they've played really, really well.
Coach, as we kind of move forward to talk about Henry County tomorrow night, which is going to be a great atmosphere up in Paris, a rivalry matchup goes from a non-region game to a region game to kick off the slate for you guys. Just kind of talk about that excitement of not only playing a rival, but getting the region slate kicked off against the Patriots of Henry County.
Oh, there's a lot of buzz going on around here this week with going against Henry County for the first time since 2016. A lot of that had to do with region or classification mix-ups and not being able to schedule a non-region game over the last few years, and scheduling conflicts and stuff. But we're excited about getting that game back on the schedule. With the Battle of the Barrel, it's been that way since I think they've played 33 times over over the course of the 50 years that we've been a school, or 50 plus years we've been a school. And the record is really, really close. I think Henry County holds the overall lead like 21-18, 21-17, 21-18. So it's a battle every time they play each other. There's been a lot of excitement back and forth between both schools this week, and taking pictures with the barrel and talking about rekindling that fire. And they've got some special things planned at the game for Friday night, just to, build that rivalry back up and get it kind of going again. So we're excited about that.
Coach, not too many people are excited about playing Henry County, especially at Henry County, because it's so darn hard to get to. But at least there is that background, that history between you all, that folks are kind of used to making that trip, even though nobody on this team has done so.
Right. And we've talked about that as a team. We've talked about this, guys. I know y'all don't understand exactly what it means to play Henry County, like some of our coaches that played them in the past, former alumni of Dickson County, and what it means for that rivalry, and how they it's a good, friendly rivalry too between the two schools, and that's what makes it even better. Is it's not bitter at all. It's a good, friendly, fun rivalry between the two with the barrel and all. But ever since I've been here, I've wanted to get Henry County back on the schedule. When I took the job 4 years ago, I said we need to get back to old Dickson County ways, old Dickson County tradition. We want to play Gallatin. We want to play Henry County. We want to play those schools that they used to have battles with in the 80s and 90s. And, unfortunately, we couldn't get Henry County on the schedule a couple of years ago, but we're excited to having them now. As a Franklin High graduate, when are you getting Franklin back on there? Well, we talked to Franklin coaches this past year about getting them on there, and unfortunately, we couldn't get that worked out. There was a couple of different places on the schedule that we thought we may be able to get it fixed and get it in there, but we just couldn't get it worked out as a non-region game this past year. But it's definitely a close, right down 96 for us, and it's a pretty close battle or pretty close transport. So we would love to get those guys back on the schedule as well. # old school. That's right. Jeff Tomlinson, Dickson County coach, joining us here on Main Street Sports today on Coach's Corner. Coach, you talked about, Tristan Brown and being a workhorse for you and that kind of thing. Again, you guys are 3-0, defeated Columbia Central 27-17 in week 1, Laverne 38-22 a couple of weeks ago, and edged
Creekwood in the final 12 minutes, 24-23. What's making your offense go right now besides Brown?
Well, we have complimentary stuff off of what Coach Tristan does, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell you he's carried the ball over 90 times in 3 games. So, he's toting the rock a lot, and we really have stressed to our quarterback. Look, we can run some RPO system stuff, and so we've got to take advantage of some of that and not lean on him quite as much. I mean, he has over 500 yards rushing in 3 games, but and he's definitely what makes us go. But in order and we talked about this week in film study and in the locker room during our team meetings, is that in order for us to really be explosive, we've got to utilize some of our other weapons that we have on offense, and we do have some other weapons that needs to be used.
As the legendary Coach Boots Donnelly would say, the ball is not heavy. So, I mean, 30 rushes a game isn't that big a deal, right? I mean, he's young.
Yeah, well, I mean, we certainly want to keep him healthy as well, and fortunately for him, or unfortunately for him, or however you want to look at it for us, our backup tailback has been faced with a little bit of injury bug this year. So we used him a little bit against Columbia. And then in Laverne, the very first carry against Laverne, he come down wrong on his knee and kind of tweaked his knee a little bit. He was out against Creekwood. I hope to have him back this week. I'm pretty sure he's going to be good to go for tomorrow night's game. So we've had him, just sparingly over the 3 weeks. But if we can get him back, that'll definitely alleviate some of Tristan's carries too, and keep both of them fresh for the entire game.
Coach, you mentioned this being year 4 for you at Dickson County. Just kind of talk to me about the mindset and the philosophy that you wanted to build when you first took the job, and just kind of building a culture that could, resonate obviously into a 3-0 start, and for you guys to continue to look to build on that throughout the rest of the season.
Well, I tell the guys all the time, a team that has no leaders is not a very good football team. They're a bad football team. A team that is led by the coaches, a team that is coach led, is just a mediocre, average football team. But the team that is led by the players, that the ones that the players step up and take control and make sure that everything is on task and on cue, they're the teams that's going to take you for where you need to go, and they're the teams that's going to win football games. And that's where we're finally there at that point. This team of seniors and this team of juniors and seniors, for that matter, have taken ownership and responsibility in this football team. I don't have to say, hey, we got to get to practice, or we need to get on the bus to go anywhere, or we need to do this, or we need to do that. They take care of everything. Last Friday night and Saturday, when we had the delay to go to Creekwood, I sat in my office and did my thing, and I didn't have to go rounding kids up or telling them where we needed to be or what they'd stop doing this or stop doing that. They were focused. They were in charge of what was needed to be done. They got on the bus. They got themselves all prepared, ready to go in the football game, and all I had to do was say, let's go play.
Coach, you came down from Montgomery Central, had a very successful coaching career up there. Again, this is year 4 for you. What has that transition been like? Has it taken you longer maybe than you had anticipated to get this thing going in the direction that you wanted it to, or has it come quicker, or what were your expectations when you got here, and what have you seen to this point?
I think we're about where I was expected. I would have liked it, and anybody that's wants that instant gratification, wants to be winning fast, quick, but I also know that it takes time and you got to be patient. And when I was at Montgomery Central, that was a total rebuild from the ground up, and we had to take things completely over. Here, I didn't feel like I was going to have to do that, and I don't think we really needed to do that. But if you look at it, though, the seniors that are seniors now, they were freshmen when I first got here. They were my first freshman class, and so they've been with me the entire 4 years. They know exactly how I want it to be ran, and they run it the way that we need it to be run. And so when we were at Montgomery Central, my 4th year at Montgomery Central, we went to the playoffs for the first time in how many ever years it was at Montgomery Central when we went to the playoffs in the 4th year. We made the playoffs the last 2 years here with, average to slightly above average records. And that was great. But this year is the year that we really, if we're staying on par for what we did at Montgomery Central, this year's the year that we need to really make some noise and make a big stand and make a big run going through the playoffs, or going through the rest of the regular season into the playoffs.
I mentioned that Dickson County is 3-0. for the first time since 2012. That 2012 team, that 2012 team won a lot of games.
Yes.
I don't have it right in front of me. I'm trying to get it in front of me. I think they went like 9-1 in the regular season, maybe. But
that is correct. They finished 9-2 or 10-2. I can't remember exactly, but that is correct. The 2013 team was the last team to make the playoffs, and then we made it in 2023, 2024, and then we're going on our way back this year. Is all fingers crossed and all things are considering. That's where we're planning on going again this year. So.
Yeah, that 2012 team, again, they were 9-1 during the regular season. That one loss coming in week 9 to Henry County.
Yeah.
So,
yes, that Battle of the Barrel, they've had that barrel for a while now. Of course, they've kept it since 2016 because we haven't played, and then they had won the previous 8 regular season games with Henry County. So you take that back to around the 2010 timeframe was the last time Dickson has had that barrel.
Suffice it to say, Dickson County has a score to settle when they go to Paris tomorrow night.
That's the plan.
There we go. Jeff Tomlinson, 4th-year coach at Dickson County, joining us here on Coach's Corner on Main Street Sports Today. Coach, we appreciate you taking some time. Good luck this weekend, and we'll be keeping up.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Go Cougars.
There we go. Before we dip out of this segment, let's give you our weekly award winners. Let's start with our Custom Stone Handlers In to Win Life Team of the Week. Besides the military, there's no greater team building experience in athletics. Custom Stone Handlers encourages you to get in the game. The Columbia Academy Lady Bulldogs girls soccer team snapped a 4-game losing skid to start the season with a pair of 2-0 victories last week, defeating Providence Christian 2-0, defeating Franklin Christian 2-0. Both of those were district matches. Both of those were on the road. So the Columbia Academy Lady Bulldog girls soccer team, our Custom Stone Handlers In to Win Life Team of the Week. Congrats to CA. Our Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia Southern Middle Tennessee Athlete of the Week is Lawrence County quarterback Logan Clayton. The senior Wildcat rushed for 140 yards on 15 carries with 3 touchdowns, threw for 242 yards and 3 touchdowns. Lawrence County winning the Cowbell game over Giles County 42-28, and Logan Clayton a large part of why they did. Our Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance Southern Middle Tennessee Athlete of the Week, Logan Clayton, Lawrence County senior quarterback. Congratulations to him. Congratulations again to the Columbia Academy girls soccer team, our Custom Stone Handlers In to Win Life Team of the Week. Let's take a break here on Throwback Thursday. When we come back, we'll talk a little baseball. Stick around.
Columbia Power and Water Systems is dedicated to bringing our customers reliable, local service. Whether you're turning on a light switch, your faucet, or streaming on TV, our dedicated team members from here in Murray County work every day to keep you on. If you need us, call us 931-388-4833 or visit cpws.com. CPWS, local service, local support.
Zion Christian Academy at zioneagles.org or 931-388-7531. You can schedule your appointment to visit their beautiful campus. Again, zioneagles.org or 931-7531 to schedule your visit today.
September 11th, 1977. With the bases loaded in the eighth inning and host Atlanta clinging to a one-run lead against San Diego, Gary Matthews stole home as part of a triple steal, with Biff Pocoroba and Pat Rocket each moving to third and second base. And out later, Barry Bonnell delivered a two-run single to extend the Braves' lead, and Dave Campbell retired the Padres in order in the top of the ninth, preserving a 7-3 Braves victory. Eddie Solomon struck out 5 over 7 2/3 innings for the win, with Rocket and Junior Moore each picking up a pair of hits and Matthews scoring 3 runs. That was this day in Braves history. Good times. Braves winning ball games. Had to be fun. Wouldn't know. Chicago 3, Atlanta 2 yesterday. The Cubs improving to 83 and 63 with that win. Atlanta falling to 65 and 81, assuring themselves of no better than a 500 season with that loss. Atlanta 19 and 34 in one-run ball games. David, was it you that was saying if they turn that number around, they would be in the pennant race?
Yeah, they would. Definitely with the way that the Mets have been kind of slumping of late. I mean, the Mets are giving San Francisco and the Reds all the opportunity in the world to try to catch them. But it's just the same old story with the Braves, you know. The nights they hit, they don't pitch. The nights they hit, they don't pitch. So, I mean, it goes back and forth. So, it is what it is. I thought Chris Sale, he was phenomenal for the first couple innings. I mean, what did he strike out 7 in a row?
Yeah, his first 7
7.
outs were by strikeout, I think. So
Yeah.
finished with 9 over 5 innings, but he also gave up 3 earned runs and he took the loss, falling to 5 and 5. So I mean, it's been tough all the way around, and it's just one of those lost seasons. Everybody has one, I guess. We just aren't really used to seeing them at Truist. Marcell Ozuna scoring both runs last night, 2 for 3 with a pair of runs scored. Acuna still fighting it, 0 for 4. He was in the 3-hole last night, but I mean, let's just get this over with. They are off today. They've got Houston coming in tomorrow. Houston's got something to play for, obviously. They are playing right now up at Toronto. Toronto's up 3-0 after 2. Yeah.
Maybe Snit heard Calvin and I's rant yesterday. I don't know if you watched the show, Mo. I asked Mark to play the video that MLB Network had with Harold Reynolds, Dan Plesac, and Greg Amsinger. And Calvin and I let our feelings be known about that. And, you know, Mo, you've seen the video. You've commented privately to me. With the Braves and the situation that you just described, not guaranteed a above 500 season. If they win 16 in a row, that would be 81 and 81, which is the definition of mediocre.
Yeah.
There's no reason in my mind why Ronald should be hitting 6th or 7th. It's not like they have anything to play for. Hit him first or third, make him comfortable. Play him like he's coming obviously off an injury.
Which he is.
He played well coming off the injury when he got back, but you know, slumps happen. They happen, and he's gonna have to play his way out of it, obviously. So just really frustrated with the management of the team and how we treat certain people compared to others.
It's frustrating because, you know, baseball, and I hate the phrase, but it doesn't make it untrue. Baseball is a game of failure. And, you know, with everything else involved with Ronald Acuna Jr. right now, you know, the injury situation that he is coming off of, he has struggled. You know, when he first came back, he was like a house of fire. He cooled off, you know, but it would be nice if he had a manager that said, hey, I believe in you. Get back in the number 3 hole, get back in the number 1 hole, go back at it. And he does not have that. And so with that said, you know, the idea that Brian Snitker is talking like he may want to come back in 2026. I posted something on Twitter earlier this week. You know, I didn't quit on this team when they traded Dale Murphy. I didn't quit on this team when they got rid of Andrelton Simmons. I won't quit on this team if Brian Snitker comes back. But that's where we are in terms of my disappointment if Brian Snitker is in the dugout in 2026. It's time.
It is. I mean, Buster Olney, we talked about it on the show yesterday in the grab bag, mentioned on ESPN some candidates for manager for the Braves. Obviously, Walt Weiss is a name that's been circled if Snitker does retire. Skip Schumacher, David Ross, former Brave catcher, and obviously former Brave and MLB Network analyst Mark DeRosa. I would love Skip Schumacher just because he has done the job and won Manager of the Year when the Marlins went to the playoffs, I believe, in 2022. He is in the Rangers organization right now in their front office. So if Bruce Bochy steps away, could he
Mhm.
dug out in Arlington? But Skip Schumacher, for the cards that he was given in Miami, which is the bare minimum,
Mhm.
he really did a really
Because
good
it is the
job.
Marlins.
I would like to see him inherit a talented roster like the Braves, but I just feel like, and as you mentioned in the past, with the Braves, we have won in spite of our manager. I mean, and you could argue maybe looking back at it years from now, a decade from now, how many more world championships would he have won if we had a different manager? And that's a question. He has a place in Braves history forever. He's been in the organization for 40 years. But it's time, as you mentioned, to go spend some time with the grandkids.
It is time to go and enjoy his family. It really is. Yeah. I wouldn't mind Skip Schumacher. I wouldn't mind David Ross. I wouldn't mind Mark DeRosa. I wouldn't mind Walt Weiss because I would like to see the slate wiped clean. Let's just I mean, we're not going to tear down the roster, but let's get some new voices in this thing. I wouldn't necessarily mind Weiss sticking around as bullpen bench coach. I wouldn't mind Rick Cranitz sticking around as pitching coach. I'm less inclined to keep Tim Hires around as hitting coach, but at the top of that hierarchy in the dugout, we need a voice that hasn't been heard before. And I say we in, yeah, I feel invested in this team. I don't own any stock, but I feel invested enough in this team that I feel comfortable saying we, and we need to hear somebody different. David Ross has
My
done it.
happiness is invested in the
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
My
David Ross
move.
has done it and been successful at it. Skip Schumacher has done it and been successful at it. There's some noise about Travis d'Arnaud. I like d'Arnaud. I
He's
just
too
don't know
close to
that
the
I
team
like
of
him in
late, though.
2026. Yeah.
He's too close to the team of late.
Yeah. Well, and he's not managed.
Yeah.
I mean, so, but it's got to be somebody. It's got to be somebody new in 2026. Somebody that can kind of, mend some fences because some of the moves that have been made this year and, the whole Acuna situation, going back to Kelnick in that situation back in April. I mean, the whole thing, this has been bad as it is related to Ronald Acuna Jr. all year. And this is a guy who, when healthy, is certainly one of your top 10 players in the game. And I might be shortening when I say top 10. So, let's get this guy comfortable. Let's get this guy confident. Let's show him that we believe in him and his abilities. And even when he's not producing, we know that he's going to, you know, and I don't think that's happening as long as number 43 is in the dugout. So somebody needs to make him aware that even if he thinks he might want to come back, no, he doesn't.
Well, and the key point is he's not under contract for next year, so he could want to come back all he wants. Ultimately, Alex Anthopoulos has to be the one to make the decision and say, hey, we might go in a different direction. So,
And
does AA have the stones to do that? We'll see.
He's got to. I mean, if Snitker doesn't have the self-awareness to realize, it's time for me to go home, then somebody else is going to have to be the one to tell him, hey, you ain't got to go home, but you can't stay here. So stay tuned. Again, Houston and Toronto are playing right now. Toronto leading that one 3-0 in the bottom of the third. The Astros come into Truist Field Truist Park tomorrow. They look to come in off of a series win, having won 3-2 yesterday, having lost 4-3 to Toronto in 10 on Tuesday. So, and they hope to come in still leading the American League West, because coming into today, the Astros are a game up on Seattle. Again, they're playing Toronto right now. Seattle plays the Angels at 8:40 tonight up in the Pacific Northwest. If things go badly, there could be a tie atop the AL West come tomorrow. So let's see how that goes.
The camera's focused on me, Wade. If Bo and I can't make the playoffs, neither can you. So we're playing. We're gonna put all our chips in this weekend. We're going for the sweep. Wade, if we're not making it, neither can you.
Pushing all our chips into the middle of the table. Absolutely. Meanwhile, Toronto trying to build on a three-game lead in the American League East, as the Yankees and Boston are both tied 3 games back of the Blue Jays. And the Yankees did themselves no favors. Specifically, the Yankees bullpen did itself no favors either of the last 2 nights. Detroit 11, New York 1 last night. That marked the second straight night that the Yankee bullpen has allowed 9 runs or more, which had never happened on consecutive nights or consecutive games in franchise history. Detroit with a 12-2 win on Tuesday. Again, 11-1 last night. Back-to-back blow-ups by the Yankee bullpen. So Aaron Boone, I don't know what the mood was in the clubhouse or in the dugout or any such thing, but things not going well in the Bronx right now.
No,
those 2 play again at 6:05.
Yeah, and we've mentioned this on this show, Mo. It seems like nobody, besides maybe Detroit, seems like a favorite when it comes to that American League. It's very wide open. Nobody seems wants to win that AL West. Seems like the Astros have given the Mariners plenty of opportunity to come and take it, and the Mariners have not done it, despite Cal Raleigh leading the Major League Baseball in home runs with 53. The AL East, it's Toronto, but Bo Bichette's now on the IL. He's hurt. So it's just very up and down. So we'll see who comes out of the American League. It seems like the National League from top to bottom might be deeper. But when you come to the postseason in this format, it's just a crapshoot, and whoever gets hot at the right time.
The only divisional suspense in the National League seems to be in the West, where the Dodgers are nursing a 3-game lead after beating Colorado last night 9-0, and Cincinnati downing San Diego 2-1. San Diego opens a series at Colorado tonight, so a chance for them to maybe make a dent in that 3-game deficit. But it looks like all the suspense is out West, as it's kind of felt like all year long. But the Dodgers really have, kind of played this thing into a dramatic finish almost.
I mean, their bullpen has been hurt all year long. It's one guy after another going down on the injury list. So I know Tommy Bryan has been losing his hair over that. I mean, I think we all can attest that when they are right, they're the best team in baseball. That lineup is a juggernaut. Mookie, we've talked about it, just hasn't had a Mookie season. Freddie was hurt for part of the season. Ohtani does Ohtani things, but you have to think they're just not a team that I would want to face in the postseason. Definitely with that lineup, that they can score runs in a hurry, and that pitching staff, if it can stay healthy, has the ability to strike you out.
Big game in Miami this evening, 5:40 first pitch. It's the Nationals and the Marlins, as a pair of former San Diego first-round picks square off on the bump. Mackenzie Gore, 5-13 with a 4.15 earned run average, getting the ball for the Nationals. Former Loretto High School standout Ryan Weathers coming off the injured list and getting the start for the Marlins, 1-1 with a 3.28 earned run average. Has been dealing with a left lat strain that has had him out for some time. And as Wade and I were talking earlier in the week, would really like to see him get 2 or 3 quality starts under his belt here to close out the season because, looked really good early before the injury. Looked really good last year with the Marlins before he dealt with some injuries that cost him the second half of the season. Again, Gore, the number one pick of the Padres in 2017, was traded in that Juan Soto trade. Weathers, the number one pick of the Padres in 2018 out of Loretto. I think it'll be interesting if you get a chance to check this one out. A couple of ex-Padres going at it for different teams there. Up at Wrigley Field this weekend, Anthony Rizzo will be recognized. He has announced his retirement. They're going to do some stuff for him this weekend. The Cubs are. He caught the final out of their historic 2016 World Series victory, snapping the drought and the curse of the GOAT and all that other good stuff. So congratulations to Anthony Rizzo. Also played for the Padres and the Yankees, has announced his retirement. And the Cubs folks will get a chance to recognize him this weekend. Finally, out at First Horizon Park, Game 3 of the 6-game series tonight at 6:35 between the Nashville Sounds and the Gwinnett Stripers. Gwinnett getting a 7-4 victory yesterday despite 4 hits from Brandon Lockridge. The series is now tied at 1 apiece following Nashville's 8-1 win on Tuesday. So 6:35 tonight, Game 3 at First Horizon. Let's take a break here as we wrap up hour number 1 of Throwback Thursday here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. When we come back for hour number 2, it is Throwback Thursday. We'll throw it back to a conversation we had with TERESA Walker of the Associated Press talking Titans. Stick around. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy at zioneagles.org or 931-388-7531. You can schedule your appointment to visit their beautiful campus. Again, zioneagles.org or 931-7531 to schedule your visit today.
Is your internet slowing you down? It's time for an upgrade. Whether you're at home, working from your home office, or at your business, it's time to unleash the speed you need with speeds up to 1 gig at CPWS for as low as $70 a month. Give us a call, 931-375-7777. Local service, local support, CPWS.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Let's ask Teresa Walker of the Associated Press what she thinks. Teresa, thanks for joining us.
Well, hi, and this is absolutely one that they're going to be kicking themselves on no matter how this season goes. But then you add in the fact that they spent all off season talking about cleaning up mistakes, the self-inflicted stuff. And, Jeffrey Simmons, I'm really torn. Don't shove a guy that your teammates got wrapped up. When you've made the stop to get the ball back, right? In what was a one-possession game. This team was 2-6 in one-possession games last year. We saw no signs yesterday that they, with all the changes they've made, that they know how to go out and finish off winning a game. And guys, we heard from Brian Callahan today explaining that, yes, he should have challenged the Elikiah Manor catch. It was a 21-yard reception. It would have put them late in the third quarter on the 48 of Denver. Would have been one of the bigger plays of the day for them. And the problem is, after the game, the coach, who has somebody in his ear that works for the team, providing that extra eye on the field, the play, the replay.
Yeah, I think Teresa's frozen momentarily, and it's unfortunate because she was on such a roll. I think we're going to mention Kelly's name quite a bit during this segment because, he did not challenge that pass play there. Again, that sequence right before halftime where the Titans are backed up inside their 10, and they throw 3 straight passes when you're leading 6-3. Run the ball, run the clock, get out of there with a 6-3 lead. Instead, you throw it 3 times, you punt it away, they score, and only a huge kickoff return by the rookie Chimere Dike, allowed you to get 3 points back on the board and make that a 4-point swing instead of a 7-point swing, and really kind of kept you in the ball game right there. But you should have been leading 6-3 going into halftime. Instead, you're trailing 10-9 going into halftime, and the explanation was we wanted to be aggressive. You want to be aggressive with your rookie quarterback making his first NFL start backed up inside his 10 with an offensive line that does not look a whole lot better than last year's coming off of one game. So I don't think that was the place to be aggressive, but hey, who am I and what do I know?
Well, and trust me, that jumped out at me. You've got a rookie quarterback, Mo and Wade, on the road, ball at the 7, you have a lead, you've got 47 seconds, run out the clock, go into halftime, and just take the lead. And so I asked that, and it's like, yes, second hand is always better, right? Hindsight is best. And he's, the original plan was first down. They were trying to get Elikiah Manor across the middle. The second play was supposed to be a screen, and the problem is the 3 receivers that were out there were all blocking somebody. The person who was supposed to turn and catch the ball did not do that. Now, it was Chigakwankwo was the guy in motion across the field. You had Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett. Maybe it was Tyler Lockett who was the intended. We're guessing here, right? Maybe it was Ridley. Callahan did not out it, but the idea was to run some clock with a screen. And then, yes, hindsight in the third play where he ends up getting sacked, barely avoids a safety. And, hindsight should have run the ball. I'll argue that in that situation, 3-14 last year, run the ball, take a lead into halftime.
I don't think hindsight was necessary to recognize that 3 run plays right there was the prescription. Because I was screaming at my TV on first down. Why are we throwing the ball?
Some things are football 101 for a reason, right?
Remedial football.
Yes.
I think you probably had to take that class to get to 101, Teresa.
True, and it's the thing that's annoying, and you've got a rookie quarterback, and Callahan said there was 4 or 5 drop passes. We know what the penalties were. They had 13 accepted penalties for 130. Accepted, yes. It could have been 15. And for 131 yards, they finished with 133 yards total offense. Their best drive, yard-wise, was the opening drive of the game. And, the problem is you're calling the plays, and I hate to do this right off the jump, but, hey, 2/3 of the fan base, I'm being told, wants him fired now. But Brian Callahan, he came in as the head coach last year calling plays. Now he's going into his second season as a play caller with a new quarterback. There were a couple of drives in the preseason that, 8.5-minute drives. You're thinking, okay, he's got a feel for his quarterback. What's going on here? And then, oops, that just disappeared. Now, give Denver credit, okay? Playoff team last year, record 63 sacks, led the NFL. So you're thinking, But again, maybe that's why you should protect a rookie quarterback in occasions. Now, and this is the thing. Brian Callahan's play calling is absolutely going to be scrutinized with a telescope and a microscope, all the scopes, for the rest of this season, and because the pressure on him is just building. Amy Adams-Strunk has invested way too much in this franchise not to start at least showing improvement. The bar is low with this franchise.
And that's the question, Teresa, is, this was a game that was at least hanging in the balance there. It was one of those games that a previous coaching regime maybe somehow finds a way to scrap and claw a way to victory. But those days are long gone. And now the question becomes, what, if any, positives did you take away from this game? We know, obviously, Denver could be a world beater this year. But, man, that was one that you truly did let slip through your fingertips.
I think everybody who watched Mike Vrabel out Belichick in that playoff game in New England is thinking, he would know the rules, and that would have been challenged immediately. And sometimes you throw the challenge flag, even if you're going to lose, to buy that extra second. I mean, Sean Payton threw 4 yesterday. He had thrown 12 the last, all of last season. So he was flag happy yesterday, challenging stuff. And then on Cam Ward, Callahan told us that he did have the freedom to check, that he made a couple of checks, including at the end of the game where he switched to a max protection to help them against that defense. And so he likes what he sees out of Cam. Again, it's like, what are the rest of the Titans doing to help their rookie quarterback?
Not much.
Not enough.
Yeah. Teresa Walker of the Associated Press joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. Teresa, Jarvis Brownlee did not have a great day. There was a clip of him after the game. I think it was Teron Davenport that had a comment from him saying we shot ourselves in the foot, and it was on the socials, and somebody responded that, well, he was the trigger man. Well, if Brownlee was the trigger man, it was almost like an ambush, because he certainly wasn't the only one shooting.
Well, exactly. I mean, he gets a lot of the attention, but he had 3. They had 13. It's not like he had all of them. Now, he had the pass interference on an incompletion just before the half that set up the touchdown for Denver that allowed them to take the lead into half. He just started his second year. Okay, this is a guy who was not a high draft pick. He was a late round draft pick. The fact that he's a starter, this young man is growing and blossoming with each game that he plays, and he is a physical corner. Okay, if you want to see a physical corner, once we start seeing more of L'Jarius Sneed, who was limited to 21 snaps yesterday on a pitch count, I think we'll get a better barometer for, maybe Brownlee isn't as physical as you'd think, but, and guess what? Some officiating crews call things differently than others. That is a big piece of this puzzle, but, he's a starter. He was a starter as a rookie. And for this secondary, it is thin. When Darrell Baker left yesterday and then Brownlee got hurt late, you could see the thinness. It's why they need Sneed. And Brownlee absolutely is a piece of this puzzle moving forward. So, if you want to get upset, let's look at some of the other penalties. And, there's a lot to nitpick from that game. And it all comes back to this. The Titans and Titan fans know that was a chance at a big win. And if you want a silver lining to the cloud, Ken Wisenhunt was undefeated as the Titans coach in openers. He only won one other game in his short tenure.
A real stat there, Teresa. I'm also curious. What did you hear specifically in regard to addressing the penalties? I mean, it seems like you're going to get the same old answers a lot of the times in these questions. But what did we hear about as far as addressing the penalties, whether that's players or coaching staff?
The theme is the same. We heard from Lloyd Cushenberry. That's why I was a couple minutes late getting with you guys. They had Lloyd Cushenberry available. I didn't stick around for Xavier Woods, who had the first interception yesterday. But the idea is, they spent all offseason working on this. They know how it hurts them. They know they have to clean it up and play better. Jeff Simmons put it well after the game yesterday. We talked all offseason about getting more turnovers. They got 4 yesterday, thanks to the muff punt on special teams. Problem is, they only got 6 points off of that with 2 field goals. So now they've been working on the penalties and the self-inflicted mistakes, the sins all off season. And in fact, it was Lloyd Cushenberry's team that won the training camp portion of that internal competition. And now it's go do it. I want to maybe think that, part of it is first game jitters, playing against a team that, not only did they go to the playoffs last year, they've got high hopes this year. And some of the bright parts, that defense, that was the area I needed to see because, with Cody Barton, he's got young linebackers beside him. That secondary, with Jarius Sneed on a pitch count, who's rushing the passer. And, they're going to have to get Jeff Simmons some help there. But that defense kept them in the game. If they put together one decent touchdown drive, then the Titans defense could have done what Denver's defense did and start really getting after the quarterback. And that's the thing. So, the true measure will be this next weekend. They host the Rams, and guys, this is where it gets into dangerous territory. They've got two straight home games. Then it's back on the road for 3 straight. They are in a stretch. 5 of the first 8 are on the road. And this is a young team. They started 4 rookies yesterday. Cam Ward got all the attention, but Alec Eiermanner was also out there. So, and I haven't had a chance to glance at the other 2 rookies that started, but we knew this was a young team. That's a lot of youth in the first game on the road against a playoff team. A team that honestly is being mentioned as a possible for the Super Bowl because, of what they did last year alone.
And with all of that said, it sounds crazy to say it, but I'll say it anyway. The Titans played, well, they had a chance to win that ball game. Obviously, they didn't play well enough to win it, but there were moments that game was winnable for the Titans yesterday.
Absolutely, and that's the plus side. If they can go clean up the penalties, figure out a better rhythm on offense, and catch passes that hit your hands. You do some of that, and somebody's elbow hits down on a pass, challenge it.
Inbound.
Yeah, feel free to throw that challenge flag.
Okay, so question.
Yeah.
The Tennessee Titans went into last year pretty much hell-bent and determined to figure out whether or not Will Levis was a viable answer at QB1. Are we at the point where this is an evaluatory situation for Brian Callahan?
Mo, I think it absolutely is. I mean, we started training camp with Chad Brinker saying that they just wanted to see improvement out of this team this year. They know they're young. They know that this is a rebuilding franchise. That said, how can you not judge and grade the franchise with the guy who is the head coach, calling the offensive plays, who you've done everything to help him. You hired Mike McCoy, who's been a head coach in this league, to bring in as a senior assistant on offense. You've done all the stuff in the front office, the personnel office, to try to make sure that they're getting the better talent on this roster. But when it comes down to it, that's what makes that sequence right before the first half so crucial, because if you're grading off of that, how is that not an F? I say that as somebody who heard Jeff Fisher say repeatedly, coaches don't call plays not expecting them to work. So I can absolutely understand that Callahan's thinking that Cam Ward is going to find Alec Eiermanner for a play down the field, maybe for a first down. That screen, if nothing else, runs 20 seconds off the clock, forces Denver to take a timeout, and that Cam Ward finds a way not to get taken down for a sack, almost for a safety. And yeah, I can see that world where those plays are called and executed perfectly. The problem is we live in the real world, and yes, he is going to be graded. And if he has too many game days like yesterday, I mean,
he won't have many more game days.
Exactly. We saw Amy Adams-Strunk. The quickest she has pulled the trigger on a coach was Ken Wisenhunt in November. I think it was 23 games into the Ken Wisenhunt tenure. But she's trying to protect. She did that to protect Marcus Mariota as a young rookie quarterback. She's got the number 1 quarterback in Cam Ward. How long will she be patient is a very valid question.
Teresa, you just mentioned the real world and we live in it. I don't know that I would argue we maybe don't because I watched a little bit of Sunday Night Football last night. What about the Bills rallying, circling the wagons one last time and winning 41-40? Not only was it a scoreagami, but they pull off a crazy upset when they were down 20-plus points. Do we chalk some of these results up to just week one antics? I mean, it was just insane theater last night.
Week one antics, but also Jim Harbaugh's numbers. He's got the most blown double-digit leads. John. I mean, it's one of the Harbaugh brothers.
Only one of them won this weekend. Just want to point that out.
I know, but it's the Baltimore Harbaugh who has the most blown losses when leading by double digits in his tenure. No other NFL team comes close. He's got that lead by himself far and away. And when you think about that, part of it is you've got to be good enough to get a double-digit lead. But and I know that Derrick Henry took the blame last night for his fumble with about 3:06 left. Did the Ravens defense just disappear? I mean, did they think that game was over? Were they in the locker room? I mean, that's the thing. You blow leads because somebody's not doing something. And got to think, as secure as Harbaugh has been in Baltimore, with the investment that they've got, at a certain point, the bill comes due. And it's been a long time since Harbaugh lifted the Lombardi. A long time. And look at the talent they've got on offense.
It's interesting. I think they're going to be okay, guys, because, I mean, we saw them, lose to the Week 1 Chiefs last year by a toenail when Lively's out of bounds. But I'm also, something was up. And I didn't feel totally safe because of that stat that you just mentioned, Teresa. I mean, this is a team that thrives in finding ways to blow leads. Then we saw them go out and lose to the Browns, Week 2 last year. So they're going to be in the mix firmly. But, man, you just kind of scratch your head. It was kind of same old in a sense from the Ravens last night down the stretch.
Exactly, Wade. And this game, it's not so much about, winning your division. This is about home field advantage in January. Do you want to be going to Buffalo? Do you want to be going to Kansas City? Or would you rather, if you're the Ravens, be hosting an AFC Championship game in Baltimore? That's what that game was all about, and that's what makes this blown loss painful because I'm trying to think. Was that Baltimore Bills game in the playoffs? That was in Buffalo, wasn't it?
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's what made last night so important.
I have an ongoing text string with 3 friends from college, one of whom asked, who did a worse coaching job, Harbaugh or Callahan? And, my knee-jerk reaction is Callahan, but going back to that stat that you just threw out there, Teresa, I gotta wonder.
I'm going with Harbaugh because he's the guy who's been in his job the longest. He's got the best talent. This is a team that is expected to contend for a Super Bowl. Brian Callahan is in just had his first game of his second season as the head coach and an offensive play caller. Let's not forget, yes, he's got a lot of offensive experience. That's why the Titans hired him. But he called his first plays a year ago. In an NFL game. So now he's got another new quarterback. How long has Harbaugh had Lamar Jackson? I mean, that's the thing. So when it comes to the experience, and again, that number of double-digit blown leads, I mean, at this point, yes, give Callahan a grace period that he may not get much of from Miss Amy Adams-Strunk, but in this case, it's an easy call. It's Harbaugh.
Okay, there you go.
Speaking of coaching jobs, real quick, Teresa, what do we make of, this was not the game of the night, but it was only upstaged by what we saw in Buffalo. What do we make of the Steelers in a wild shootout? I did not have 34-32 anywhere on my bingo card with Steelers and Jets coming into Sunday.
Well, game one stuff, weird things happen in game one. I mean, I think Titan fans all remember Miami 2018. And I think there was, Aaron Rodgers said it after the game. He wanted to beat anybody connected with the Jets. Well, let's see what happens week 2. So, yes, that was a lot of points. It was a very interesting game. I just want to see and need to see Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's like blaming everybody in New York Green for the problems, but wasn't he brought in to help them? And now he's in another team. Maybe he was part of the problem there.
It was painful to watch as a Jets fan. I'll tell you that much. But I was totally surprised by the offensive production. So in a weird way, I kind of enjoyed it, even though it comes in a loss. Real quick, Teresa, I also wanted to ask you too. We've talked so much about coaching and bad coaching jobs. How quickly do the Dolphins pull the plug on Mike McDaniel? Is he not firmly your number one coach on the hot seat at the moment? The Colts won a season opener for the first time in like a decade. I thought I read first season opening win for the Colts in 11 years.
With Daniel Jones as QB1, right?
Hey, I mean, the talk was coming out of Friday that, hey, what about Herbert being your MVP? Now all of a sudden you watch Sunday and you're like, well, what about Daniel Jones? He was looking crisp. 22 of 29, 272 yards and a touchdown. Not a bad effort there for Danny Dimes, but it was against the Dolphins.
And the Giants love to see that, right?
The Giants are used to guys going elsewhere and flourishing here in the last couple seasons in particular. But the Dolphins don't even put up 8 points until the end of the ball game. So, I mean, Indianapolis, that's the scary thing if you're a Titans fan. The Texans went on the road and looked putrid, but versus a really, really, really good Rams team. The Colts, meanwhile, took care of business. The Jaguars kind of took care of business. So if you're a Titans fan, not necessarily outside of your own result, it was kind of a rough week one across the rest of the AFC South.
Thanks to Teresa Walker of the Associated Press for trying to hang on with us. Technology is a beautiful thing when it works. Come back.
Deep in a forest at Nashville Zoo, new creatures here for you to view. Phantoms graced in black and white swing high in trees of dappled light. In rocky crags, tall and steep, small antelopes with nimble feet. A wise old man with beard of white, a sentry perched on stony height. Amidst it all, a hunter lies, with coat of gold and steely eyes. A new adventure just for you. Leopard Forest at Nashville Zoo. Open now.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily, as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Throwback Thursday continues here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. That's David Wilson. I'm Maurice Patton. Let's talk a little college football, specifically the Legacy Series, as Alabama A&M comes up from Huntsville this weekend, taking on Tennessee State in the inaugural meeting in the Legacy Series. Joining us now, Alabama A&M play-by-play announcer Ty Floyd. Ty, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for joining us. I guess we may as well go ahead and get it out of the way. Well, two things. One, if you recognize the name Ty Floyd, it's because her father is former Florida State, former NFL fullback William Floyd, and obviously grown up around the game. But two, In her position as play-by-play announcer for Alabama A&M, Ty is the first woman to hold a full-time play-by-play announcer position with an HBCU football program. Congratulations, Ty. I don't know that you necessarily go into this to break barriers and that kind of thing, but certainly that's been the case for you, and it's got to be an honor to be the first.
Yeah, it's a huge honor. It's a huge accomplishment. It's something I didn't even really recognize until the news broke and everything started to kind of take shape in the way that it has. But I'm grateful to be the one to break these barriers and hopefully inspire the next generation of, young women and girls who will go into the realm of play-by-play.
That said, what have you seen out of Alabama A&M in these first two games? They're off to a 1-1 start, lost over at Arkansas in week 1, defeated Alcorn this past weekend at home. What are they looking like as they get ready to come to Nashville this weekend?
Well, I think that we're a very well-balanced team. I love the fact that we are a run-first team. We utilize our quarterbacks. Our running backs. You mentioned my dad, and so the running back, fullback position is something that's very important to me. So I love how we utilize our guys and how it's like running back by committee. We have a whole bunch of talented backs. That room is very stacked. I love all of the utilization we're getting out of our Miles guys, the guys who came with Coach Shade from Miles College. You got Trey Abner, Frank Pierre, who we saw flashes of in this Alcorn State game, had a touchdown, as well as guys on the defensive side, on the defensive line, who will continue to be impactful. And then you have the emergence of stars like Wyatt Wright, Kylon Robinson, both of whom have had these amazing journeys to get to where they are here at Alabama A&M. So going into Tennessee State, we have a lot of great moving parts. I know that Tennessee State is coming off of a loss against North Dakota State, and I have a feeling that they have had a very intense week of practice. They have a very nasty taste in their mouth about it, and they're looking to come into the Legacy Series and compete.
David, you look like you had something on your mind.
No, I was just going to ask about that. Just the value for an Alabama and program coming to Nashville this weekend, playing in Nissan Stadium, getting the luxury of playing in the home of the Titans. The day before the Titans, what value does that have for those young men of that program? Just to play on a stage like that and a battle between two really great HBCUs.
Yeah, of course. I think a lot of our guys have pro aspirations, and so to be able to play in a stadium where they hope to be able to make it to one day is going to be extremely special. Having two HBCU football programs who are starting out with new head coaches, new systems that have the storylines of Coach Thornton, who was with us last year, having Rayvon Johnson, who was with us last year, and just being able to go to Nashville, which is such a spectacular city, very close to home. Our fans are going to be able to travel well. It's going to be awesome. So I'm excited to see just how this Legacy Series is going to continue to go as years progress. And I think that it's going to be a great matchup on the field as well with, Jonathan Palmer for Tennessee State, Quad Brown for Alabama A&M, and all of the other offensive, defensive weapons. Although Tennessee State is pretty young, still very talented guys. So I'm excited to see what happens on the field, especially for Alabama A&M. How are they able to carry and maintain that momentum? And then for Tennessee State, how do they bounce back?
It just makes sense with the proximity of these two programs, with y'all being in Huntsville, Tennessee State being in Nashville. It just seems like it makes sense for two HBCUs to get together and have a series like this, to bring fan bases together and bring programs together as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's going to be a very awesome showing of football on a beautiful Saturday in Nissan Stadium. So I surely am excited for it.
It feels like this should have been a regular occurrence long before it has become one. So, kudos to the officials at both schools for pulling this together. It should be a fantastic crowd, I would think, like you said, with the proximity between Huntsville and Nashville and everything. Ty Floyd, play-by-play announcer for Alabama A&M football, joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. Ty, talk to me for a minute about Quad Brown, because I saw something on the socials not too long ago. Quarterback / golfer. Now, does he play golf at A&M as well?
I think Quad, yes, he is on the golf team, but he participates in a lot of golf activities outside of A&M, given just how talented he is. He's requested to be everywhere and show his duality.
And I guess in this world of NIL and that kind of thing, that's really a space that he can take advantage of.
Absolutely. I feel like you have to be multifaceted. I try to encourage all of our guys, just from the standpoint of me being in the business from the broadcast side and knowing that there's so many storylines and so many great attributes of these different guys that I just have conversations with while having the luxury of being in the building, would be nice for fans to know and for them to delve into those passions so that they could get visibility for themselves and maximize it in the way that Quad is doing with golf. So I'm very glad that he's so open and loud and proud about being a golfer.
That's certainly, you see two-sport athletes and you do see them at the collegiate level even, but football and golf isn't necessarily one that you would expect to see, I don't think.
Yeah, no, not really. I see a lot of football players that golf, but it's because, they're usually retired. Like my dad, you would literally have to pry the golf clubs off his back and drag him off the golf course for sure.
Looking at your coaching staff, there is one guy who really jumps out at me, and I covered him when he was a quarterback at Tennessee State. I know Kenton Evans is really excited about this trip this weekend.
Yeah, he is. And Ken Evans, he's just the type of coach who is just ready and excited for every single game. I think that these storylines that are surrounding the game give everyone an extra bit of motivation, which is why I believe that it's going to be such a great matchup. But yeah, Coach Evans, he has been doing such a great job with the quarterbacks and their development. We're seeing a new level of Quad Brown, I feel like, has kind of just been untapped in the past year. So I'm excited for Quad and definitely for Ken Evans to be able to go back and coach in this game.
Tennessee State's coaching staff got a lot of attention here over the past few months with the addition of Reggie Barlow, who had previously been the coach at the DC Defenders of the UFL, and Shannon Harris, the co-offensive coordinator, who took over in the interim with the Defenders, and they won the league championship and that kind of thing. What is Coach Shade? What is this coaching staff saying about the preparation as it relates to, the experience of this TSU staff? And, to some degree, it kind of coming together in a short period of time, but the experience that they have.
Yeah, well, I think that our coaching staff has just the same amount of experience, from our special teams coach, Amos Jones, who has coached in the NFL, coached collegiate ball, having Dennis Alexander, our offensive coordinator, playing in the National Football League, being with Coach Shade at Miles, Coach Shade and himself, who has coached at a bunch of different levels and been a winner at everywhere he has been, to your guys like Lawan Latson, Jamal Fobbs, Antonio Carter, who coached at Florida A&M when Florida A&M won the HBCU National Championship, the Celebration Bowl. So it's a very broad and diverse coaching staff on our end as well. And so I feel like the preparation for them is just the same as any other game. These coaches and these guys have played at the professional level. I left out Marco Coleman, Chris Schelling. So they have the experience of playing against guys like Reggie Barlow, like Shannon Harris. They have the experience of coaching against high caliber coaches in that way. And so I think it's just, they're very even keel about it. It's just another day on the job.
Okay, got you. Todd, what's this transition been like for you, coming into this role, first time play-by-play announcer, gender aside, just your first time doing this? What's the the learning curve been like for you?
I mean, with every new thing, you're going to have some hiccups. And that's definitely how it's been for me. I've had, it's been a transition. I have done basketball before. I've done a ton of sideline before. Everything that you love about sideline with storytelling and asking questions are the same things that you're able to do in the play-by-play realm. It's just a very consistent role. You're talking the entire game. For me, it really like the learning curve really comes from the fact that my whole entire life have been a very casual football viewer. Now, as the role of the play-by-play, it's time, score, down, and distance, but it's also making sure that I am telling the story. It's making sure that I am showing people or giving people a vision of what they can't see, because radio and TV play-by-play differ. And I would say those would maybe be the learning curves, but all in all, it's a great experience for me to have. I'm excited to improve from week to week. And when I talk to people like Kate Scott, Tiffany Green, they always say to give yourself grace, to pick 2 to 3 things that you want to continue to improve on each week and do that. Who I am now and who I'll be when we play Texas Southern in November are going to be 2 completely different people. And this is just the beginning of a very beautiful and successful career.
Now, do you go back and listen to yourself? Because I personally cannot stand listening to myself. Do you go back and listen to your work and self-critique, or do you maybe have somebody else do that?
Well, for me, I'm doing in-game critiques. And it was funny because every break that I had, I was texting my father, and my dad, he does color commentary for Florida State University. So I'm texting my dad like, oh my goodness, this, that, and the third, just overly critiquing myself. And my dad's like, it's your first one. You're coming out the blocks. It's okay. It takes time. And I'm like, no, Dad, I need to improve it. I feel like I sound like this or whatever. When I got the recording back and I listened to it, our tight end, Trey Abner, he scored a touchdown. And the way that my voice went up in volume and in pitch, I did not like it at all. And I was like, oh God, that was, I did not like that at all. So for background noise, like when I've been studying or when I've just been watching or just, kind of just been around the house studying, I've been listening to Tiffany Green, Kate Scott, Beth Mowens, Pam Ward, all of those women, and just kind of hearing how they call the games, self-assessment, critiques. And then I'm looking forward to Saturday to be able to improve little by little until it all continues to come together. It's a very interesting experience. I'm learning on the fly. As a woman in sports, you don't really have a large margin for error, but that's okay. I know it's all going to contribute to me being who I want to become.
It's kind of sad that is your reality, that you feel like you don't have a large margin for error because you are a woman, not because you are new at it, but because you are a woman. It's unfortunate that that's the case, but I can understand why you would feel that way. How much of an ace in the hole is your dad? A former player, a current color commentator, just being able to help you break down film and get ready for your games and that kind of thing.
I mean, he's been an extremely helpful tool. He's definitely been an ace in the hole. He has always just been a guiding light to my career. And when I made it very clear on what I wanted to do and who I wanted to become in this business, my dad is the type of person that when you tell him that, he's going to push you to your limits so that you can become who you want to become. And I was a little overly critical, and he always kind of reels me back into reality. But being able to talk to him about different formations or how I'll be able to stay it on air, how I can word everything, how I can tee up my color person has definitely been something that's so helpful. And I am such a daddy's girl, and I really love and appreciate my dad for everything that he has done for me. I look forward to his critiques and our conversations, and I'm really praying that one day I'll be able to call a game with him.
Ty, you mentioned just yourself trying to serve as a role model for the next generation of young woman that wants to get into the industry. What advice would you give for someone who's maybe in high school right now, listening, that wants to aspire to be someone like you, whether it's on the sidelines or in the play-by-play booth upstairs? What advice would you give to that young lady?
I would say develop thick skin right now. Develop thick skin right now. I was put through a very massive test about having thick skin. I'm not the type of person that will cry about it. I have Twitter fingers too, and I will go at you, and that's just how it is. But I've learned that I cannot do that. And there was an instance last year where I had asked a question to one of the most to a football player at the Celebration Bowl, one of the biggest, baddest fan bases in all of HBCU. I misworded what I was trying to say. I said, you starved off a comeback. I thought attempted would be understood, but it was not. And basically, I got a lashing from this fan base. And the me who I was, but when I started my career, would have went crazy on everyone. I would have had my hands up like Ali, fighting back. But I just kind of laughed at it, and I didn't look at it as much. And even when the announcement came that I would be the first woman doing this, there were quite a lot of people on social media who said things about me and some crazy heinous things. And I was just kind of like, wow, this is crazy. But had I not really been intentional and worked on developing thick skin, it would have impacted me a lot harder than I feel like it is. Definitely developing thick skin. If there's no opportunity there, make one for your own. I had to buy my own camera. My father bought my camera actually. And he bought my camera, and I was out at all these different events, getting my own content, getting my own stuff. And that's also very important. If there is no seat at the table, create your own table. And then I would say just be graceful with yourself, have grace with yourself, and have fun. I wish that was something that I really took to heart, especially in my position now. I'm so overly critical of myself. I got off of the mic last Saturday when we played Alcorn, and they said, give yourself a letter grade. And I said C-. And everybody else was like, I think that was B work. I think you did great. It's your first time. And I'm like, yeah, no. But I wish I would be a little bit more graceful. It may be a problem later because I will feel like I just have to keep being I have no margin or room for error. That may be a problem in the future. But the fact that I recognize that is great. So maybe I can work on it now.
There you go. Ty Floyd, Alabama A&M play-by-play announcer. She will be on the call for the Legacy Series matchup between Tennessee State and A&M Saturday. That is a 3:30 kick at Nissan Stadium. Is that correct? That is. Great. Who's your color analyst?
Maurice Brooks. Evan Hayes will be doing the pregame show along with Chauncey Sanders, pregame, postgame, and then you'll hear me and Maurice Brooks on the call.
What a great name for a sidekick right there.
Fantastic name. Absolutely. Ty, we appreciate you taking some time with us this afternoon. Enjoy the game Saturday. We look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Thank you so much, y'all. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Let's take a break here as we wind down Throwback Thursday here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. When we come back, David and I will jump in the grab bag. Stick around.
being in Tennessee, we wanted to try to keep it as local as possible. So we have an entire section of our menu that is just dedicated to local whiskeys like Uncle Nearest, Jack Daniels, of course, George Dickel, Nelson Brothers, Greenbrier whiskey, and all of our taps are all local. From 2 o'clock until midnight, we've got food every day for you guys. A good handful of appetizers, some entrees, and a couple salads and things like that. My name is Ethan Kanata. Please come down and see us at the Pick Lobby Bar here at the Omni in Nashville.
At Delta Dental of Tennessee, we know our success begins and ends with providing superior quality service, and that includes serving those who need it most. This year, we're celebrating 25 years of giving back to the community we call home. Delta Dental, along with our Smile 180 Foundation, supports Tennessee's dental colleges and oral health education, children's hospitals, free and reduced cost dental clinics, and other like-minded charities. Here's to the next 25 plus years of ensuring healthy smiles.
There's a line that links us all. Most of the time, we don't even think about it, but it's everywhere. Illuminating our neighborhoods, empowering our businesses, and helping us to recharge. Whether it comes from our grids, the sun, or a kind heart, we believe in the power of good energy. And as your family and region continue to grow, you can trust that we'll always be there for you. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
It's the final segment of Throwback Thursday here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. That's David Wilson. I'm Maurice Patton. This is the Grab Bag. And as we mentioned during the rundown, week 2 of the NFL season starts tonight as the 1-0 Washington Commanders travel to the 1-0 Green Bay Packers. A couple of young guns under center, Jaden Daniels for the visitors, Jordan Love for the home team. Should be entertaining. I'll be at the pit, but hopefully I can keep up with some of it as it goes tonight.
It's going to be a whiteout. So
Okay.
Lambeau should be packed and rocking. A little worried about this one, Mo. Aaron Banks and Zach Tom, 2 starters on that Green Bay offensive line, are banged up and questionable, according to Adam Schefter, for tonight. So hopefully maybe one of them can play and provide some security for said Jordan Love. But, we're early in the season. It's not easy having a Thursday game after the week 1 on Sunday. But I guess that you kind of get a mini bye here. So maybe they get held out just so they can get healthy for Cleveland here next week. But should be a good matchup. Micah Parsons going against his former defensive coordinator and Dan Quinn, who used to be the DC at Dallas.
Should be interesting. Like you said, Green Bay, a three-point favorite in this one. 7:15 start. You can see it on Amazon Prime.
If anybody has a Prime membership, feel free to loan it to a friend. It's hard with the NFL, all these apps and services that they're on for us, we're struggling folk, we'll say, lacking some money in the back pocket, struggling. Feel free to help a friend out.
Well, I mean, it's okay if it's anything like the NBA and Adam Silver said. It's a highlight game anyway, so you can just catch the highlights after it's over with. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
All these services they use is nuts.
Yeah, it shouldn't be this hard to watch. But anyway, Titans home opener Sunday against the Rams, and the 0-1 Titans might catch a little bit of a break this weekend because offensive guards Steve Avila and Kevin Dotson are both nursing ankle injuries for the Rams and might not be available, which isn't news that Matthew Stafford really wants to hear.
Yeah, I see your note here on his record against the Titans, and I find that really hard to believe with how talented of a gunslinger and obviously Super Bowl champion Matthew Stafford. What's that, 0-4 against the Titans in his career?
0-4 against the Titans in his career. The former Georgia standout quarterback has not had a whole lot of success against the Titans. Now, I don't know how many of those 4 have been with the Rams, though. But
Yeah.
prior to getting to the Rams, he was with the Lions, and the Lions were not very good when he was there. So
Well,
I'm
I'm gonna
sure
say
that
this: the
plays to
Titans.
some degree.
Yeah, the Titans
Mhm.
secondary is going to have their hands full. Obviously, they acquired Devontae Adams this offseason. They obviously have Puka Nacua. They have former Notre Dame running back Kyron Williams in the backfield, as well as Blake Corum, in addition to future Hall of Famer Matthew Stafford under center. And I think we can say one of the best play callers in the National Football League with Sean McVay. So the Titans defense and Denard Wilson are going to have their hands full. And then on the opposite side of the football, the Rams have a really good line. Jared Verse is a really talented player that can get after the passer. So with J.C. Latham battling an injury, haven't seen the injury report today, whether what his listing is, but the Titans' offensive line is going to get challenged once again by a really good front seven.
Yeah, and that offensive line did not look great this past weekend against Denver. So
And the
hopefully,
Rams made Houston look very bad. I mean, Houston and C.J. Stroud once again. This was a theme last year, but C.J. Stroud was once again running for his life.
yeah. So Cam, stay on your toes. We also mentioned during the rundown the WNBA wraps up its regular season tonight. The postseason field is pretty well set, if I understand correctly. But tonight you've got Phoenix at Dallas. Phoenix is in, Dallas is out. You've got the Liberty at the Sky. The Liberty is in, Chicago is out. Um, Golden State goes to Minnesota. Both the Valkyries and the Lynx are in. And the Aces, looking for their 16th straight win to close the season, they go to the Los Angeles Sparks. A win for the Sparks would put them right at 500 for the season, but they are out of the postseason picture. So,
Do you
I'm sorry.
do you have Asia Wilson's stats from the first I sent you of the 14 games on your phone? Mine is plugged in the charger, but her stats in that first 14 of the 15 win streak. I mean, you want to talk about somebody who just came and just took MVP right back, probably from Naphesia Collier. I mean, Asia Wilson was unreal to close the regular season for Las Vegas.
In the 14 games prior to this last win for the Aces, Asia Wilson, 27.4 points per game, which leads the league. 12 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 1.5 steals, 2.1 block shots, which is a league high. 53% shooting from the floor, 52% shooting from three, 88% from the line.
Just do the
Good luck
Jordan
with that.
shrug. Like, I mean, she's her.
Yeah, she is her. She is her without question. Again, the 8-team postseason field has been set. The Lynx, I guess if the Aces win tonight, the dream is finished. They are 30-14. They currently hold the number 2 seed, but if the Aces win, they would be tied, and the Aces swept the dream during the regular season, so the Aces would be the number 2 and the dream would be the number 3. The Mercury and the Liberty are within a game of each other at the Mercury is 27-16, the Liberty is 26-17. They both play tonight, so I don't know that it really matters though, because they're going to be the 4 and 5 regardless. Either they'll either flip, but they'll face each other to start. The Fever at 24-20 is your 6th seed. The Valkyries with a win could tie the Fever. I don't know what that would do to that. And then the Storm finishes the year at 23-21. They are the number 8 seed. So I presume they and the Lynx will face each other to open things up in the, I guess that'd be the the first round. There we go. So
It's a shame that no Caitlin Clark. Shame.
It is, but at the same time, you got to play the long game with her, I think, and I don't know if maybe they tried to rush her back earlier and she had a setback as a result. But she was really beat up. I think she got in 13 games this year, and that's tough for the for the Fever and for Caitlin, and hopefully an off season will allow her to get completely healthy for 2026. So we'll see what that looks like. We're not far from hockey. The Preds open training camp next Thursday at the Ford Ice Center out in Bellevue, and they will have an open practice that day. Also open to the public. Also open practices the following 2 days, the 19th and 20th, as well as the 24th and the 26th. So the public is invited. Come check out the Preds in training camp. Bundle up. They also have preseason home games. They will play a doubleheader at Bridgestone against the Florida Panthers on September 21st. They will play at Bridgestone against the Tampa Bay Lightning on September 23rd and against the Carolina Hurricanes on October 4th, ahead of their regular season opener at Bridgestone on October 9th against the Blue Jackets of Columbus. Also, if you are in Clarksville, you get a chance to see their Gold Star Showcase intra-squad scrimmage on September 25th, which is 2 weeks from today, at F&M Bank Arena in Clarksville. So
you want to talk about the difference of an off season, or I guess 1 calendar year for the Preds? We're going into last year thinking they're going for it. They're all in. They're trying to reclaim, get back to the Western Conference Finals, go back to the Stanley Cup Finals. And then this year, it's just you're starting over from scratch pretty much. And what has kind of been a rebuild this offseason. So, man, just what a difference a calendar year can make in sports.
Yeah, I mean,
that franchise.
Well, and again, we've talked about this on these airwaves with various individuals almost ad nauseum, but maybe that finish to the 23-24 season was a little outsized in terms of, or outsized our expectations as a result, that long unbeaten streak that they had and that kind of thing, maybe set some expectations that perhaps there shouldn't have been, because they certainly did not live up to them this past year. So maybe lowered expectations, maybe running a little under the radar, that kind of thing will maybe suit this team a little bit better coming into this season.
I could see that. I could see it for sure. Just said, last year, if you're a Nashville sports fan with the Titans getting the number 1 overall pick, and the Preds playing the way they did, you were in sports hell, to say the least. So they're like, surely this year can't be any worse. And then the Titans, at least for week 1, said, hold my beer.
Don't say that. Don't test it. Yeah, because maybe it can be worse. But hope springs eternal. I mean, again, it's training camp. Season opens October 9th. Everybody's 0-0. So you're saying there's a chance. So, yeah.
Long season.
It is a long season, so we will see what it bodes. Hockey getting started. Football has started. David and I will both be out at some high school football games tomorrow night. I'll be out at one tonight. David, I guess, is, again, if anybody's got Amazon Prime and you're not doing anything with it tonight, shoot David some deets so maybe he can catch his Packers tonight.
It's crazy. It's already week 4, Mo, for high school. Crazy.
Isn't it? It really is. Wade and I will be with you tomorrow. We'll be talking some college football. We will bring you our week 3 wonder slate. So should be some pretty good matchups on there, I feel like. Be sure and join us tomorrow at 2 o'clock for the weekend warm-up edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. Again, Wade and I will see you at 2 o'clock tomorrow. Y'all have a great Thursday evening.